Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. OpenAPI and Swagger Ecosystem, episode 18 of 19. You spent hours designing the perfect specification. Now watch it write thousands of lines of server code for you in 3 seconds. That is the payoff of automating with Swagger Codegen. First, we need to clear up a common versioning trap. Swagger Codegen version 2 exclusively supports older Swagger 2.0 specifications. If you were using the modern OpenAPI 3.0 standard, you must use Swagger Codegen version 3. This episode focuses entirely on version 3. Swagger Codegen is a template-driven engine that reads your OpenAPI document and automatically builds application code. It translates your design files into actual classes, interfaces, and network operations. This is the ultimate reward of design-first development. Instead of manually typing out hundreds of boilerplate files for HTTP routing, parameter parsing, and object models, you let the machine handle the repetitive work. The generator produces two primary types of code. First, it builds client SDKs. If you need a Python, JavaScript, or Go client to talk to your API, Codegen creates a ready-to-use library. The client package handles the HTTP requests, URL formatting, and response parsing automatically. Front-end developers or other microservice teams can simply import this generated library and call methods natively instead of hand-rolling network requests. Second, it generates server stubs. A server stub is the structural shell of your backend application. It includes the API routing, the data models, and the input validation layers. It wires everything up so that the server can start and listen for traffic immediately. The generated code intercepts incoming HTTP requests, validates the payload against your OpenAPI schema, and passes the clean data to an empty function. Your only job as a developer is to fill in those empty functions with your actual business logic, like database queries or calculations. Let us walk through how you actually run this. Swagger Codegen is commonly executed via a command line interface using a Java archive file. You open your terminal and run the Java command with the -jar flag pointing to the Swagger Codegen CLI.jar file. You give it the generate command. Next, you provide 3 essential flags. You use -i to specify your input file, such as openapi.yaml. You use -l to set your target language and framework. For example, passing Spring tells the tool to build a Java Spring Boot application. Finally, you use -o to specify the target output directory. You execute the command. In a few seconds, the tool parses the specification. It maps every string, integer, and array defined in your OpenAPI document to the equivalent native types in Java. It relies on a library of pre-built logic templates for the target framework to stitch these types together. The result is a complete directory structure filled with controllers, configuration files, and data classes. You can compile that output directory right away, start the server, and successfully hit the endpoints you designed. Here's the key insight. Code generation doesn't just save time up front. By driving your server structure and your client libraries directly from the same OpenAPI file, you guarantee that your implementation perfectly matches your contract, dropping integration errors between teams to 0. That's all for this one. Thanks for listening and keep building.